Yeah, that's the good thing about the Steem blockchain. So I started on Steemit actually less than 2 months ago. I'm also quite new in the crypto space in general, and as soon as I launched the project, I got a big of support from them. It's really easy to start a project on top of Steem, but I think the reason why I got all this support from Steem is because my project is a container of projects. So what I'm doing right now, I'm growing the Steem ecosystem in terms of projects developed on top of it. And the good thing is also that it happened that some closed open source projects, they became open source thanks to Token, because actually they can get up to 100 every contribution they make. So you could just create a new small feature for your open source project and get 100 Steem just for that.
So how exactly does it work? Like, let's say I'm a coder and I'm doing a comment to to a random open source GitHub project. Do they have to be part of the Utopian network?
Well, no.
So how does it work?
Utopian is linked with GitHub, so actually we are allowing any open source project out there. So as long as the open source project is hosted in GitHub, you can contribute using Utopian.
Okay.
It's not just about developers, so developers is of course a big part of it, but we're also allowing different professions, like if you're good with translations, you can help an open source project to be translated. If you're a graphic designer, you can contribute by doing that. If you're good with content writing, you can do that. I don't know, if you're good with suggestions and ideas, you can also do that. So we are really allowing different professions. And of course, based on the category that you submit your contribution to, you will have a certain dedicated power from the vote. Because so the way it works, it's so practically when you submit an open source contribution, you get voted by the Steemit community itself, but also by the Utopian vote that votes based on certain parameters, like how many times you have contributed, in which categories are you contributing, what is your reputation, and some other parameters.
Sorry, I'm not that much familiar with Steemit. So are you talking in Steem Power or whatever, or is it a token that you created on Utopian on top of Steemit, or?
No, it's just a front
end. Where do you spend the money? How do you vote? Do you vote against the GitHub URL? What?
No, it's a front end. It's a website based on top of Steem. Steem has provided some JavaScript libraries to integrate external applications into the Steem blockchain. So simply, I'm practically a different Steemit front end with a different purpose. It's just.
But the tokens are still all the Steem tokens.
It's just Steem, yeah. So practically, delegation. Investors in Steemit, they can delegate power. So practically means they are lending their money to you so that you can grow your vote power. I have quite a big few of them. So the total amount of the sponsors, I call them sponsors, made up a total of almost 4 million Steem power. And that allows me to split those Steem power and upvote open source contributions. So in total, I can generate a bare minimum of 9,000 Steem rewards per month.
How did you go about
90,000? Sorry.
90,000. That's translated to $80,000.
Yeah, I mean it's about 90 cents, right? So yeah, it's about 10% less. But how did you go about propositioning the Steemit guys to push this? Because my background's a bit open source, so I can appreciate how most people who contribute to open source, right, they don't get paid anything. They may get paid residually through other things that they do, but the idea of rewarding projects financially, particularly on this sort of token-based economy where everyone can give, $2 here, $5 here, obviously with your delegation power, $400 or whatever. But that's very powerful to sort of try and push different projects. But how did you go about convincing the Steemit team to get on board? They obviously gave you $4 million, right? Yeah, or at least delegated $4 million. So they believe in, they think that what you're doing is valuable for their ecosystem.
Yeah, so most of the projects on Steem right now, what they do, they use the beneficiary system. That means that they get a percentage of the rewards generated.
Yeah.
What I did is I completely removed that percentage from me, and I said, okay, let's delegate to this project, and who delegates gets that percentage. So practically, I'm not earning anything directly from the project. That's what I say, open source, decentralized economy. Because the only way I have to profit from this project is either contributing to open source projects or delegating my own Steem to it. And that's the same for everyone using this project. So when I made this change, barely few people were following the project before I made this change. As soon as I made this change, one big account that is called Freedom, no one knows who is him or her actually.
Oh really?
Yeah, he delegated.
So it's like a Bitcoin, like in the original, like, yeah. That's quite
delegated
cool.
200,000.
Not the same amount.
No, he's got a lot more, that guy.
Yeah. Delegated 200,000, and after that, all the others were just following.
Yeah.
And Ned actually just sent to the project 50k Steem, liquid Steem, because when you create an account in Steem, you have to pay a fee.
Yeah.
That's almost 10 Steem right now.
Yes.
So if you are an external application and you don't have funds to create accounts, you can't do that. So Ned, that is the CEO of Steem Corporation, he just sent 50k liquid Steem to the Utopian project. So now we are able to also create accounts directly from Utopian.
And when you say liquid, does that mean not like delegated?
It means real Steem.
Yeah. So if you wanted, you could just like buy, you know, Mercedes with that or something.
Yeah, I could just get them and go.
Second-hand
I'm
Mercedes.
not going to do that, but yeah, that's the point.
Apart from the fact that it takes about 3 months or so until you power down enough.
No, but it isn't. Oh, so it's Steam Power he's giving you, right?
No, Steem.
No, real Steem.
Oh.
All right. Yeah. So it is. No,
sweet.
it is. Yeah. So he could.
So you
Yeah.
can just turn around and sell it, and you get like $40,000 or.
Yeah.
Wow.
There's some trust there, right?
But I mean, is everybody here familiar with Steem? On the
There how many people are actually on Steam?
Because Steem is complicated. I'm not familiar with it, but I know what Steem Power
Who's on Steam? How many people? Who's created a post? At least one post.
Okay, so maybe you should explain the different type of tokens quickly.
Yeah, first newbies here, please.
Well, so.
It's only one token, right?
Yeah, but like the ones that have value and the ones that don't. The Steem Power. And
Maybe. Well, I come from a.
It's a little bit involved. You're better off reading the FAQ.
Mm.
Not that I want to. Not that I want to hijack. If people want to explain it, that's fine. But
no, you've been talking about it, and I'm starting to think maybe not.
I think it is actually quite. It is pretty clever because once you can go through a process where once you've accumulated some money for your blogging, you can create Steem. That they are Steem tokens, but then you can convert those Steem tokens to Steem Power.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Maybe you should explain that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I volunteer as tribute.
You're Blue Whale, right? This is at Blue Whale.
So if you don't mind to let me the stage, I'll do a little bit of explaining. So.
You're going to go on selfie mode? No. So hello, I'm Jack. And
Blue Whale.
Blue Whale in Steem. So I come from a bit of an entrepreneur business background, and I think the best way for the average user to understand Steem is you should see it as more of a company. And as a company, you have your shares, obviously, and then you have your voting shares. So in your corporation, let's say Facebook, you have your if as an average Facebook shareholder, you hold on to shares, you expect the value to go up. But you actually have different classes of shares where there are some shares where you actually have voting rights. And with Steem, what you have is you have your Steem, which is your Steem token, which is in essence a share of the Steem company. And what you can do is vest it. That means you lock up your Steem. You say, okay, I'm not going to touch your Steem. I'm not going to touch my Steem for a period of 13 weeks. And in exchange, I could vote on the direction of the company. So let's say the whole Steem ecosystem only has 100 Steem shares, and I own 25 of those Steem shares. When I vest my Steem shares, I get what's called a Steem power. A Steem power is basically saying, I'm gonna take my shared company, I'm gonna lock it up, in exchange, I get voting rights. So let's say we have a different direction, 2 updates, that takes the blockchain to different directions. And when I vest my Steem shares, I get Steem power that says, okay, I have 25 Steem that's vested, I get 25 Steem powers. And I have 25% say in the company. So I will vote on an issue, and my vote will have 25% say. Obviously, that's not enough, but in collaboration with other shareholders in the company, I could, once I get enough majority, over 51%, I could decide on the direction of the blockchain. And this is very different from the other blockchains because it solves the issues of hard forks. In other blockchains and cryptocurrencies, you have to, when you have a fork, people decide which direction they go. You know, you obviously have your Bitcoin Cash, you have your Bitcoin Gold, and who knows what's going to come next. But in Steem, there's just one blockchain, Steem, and the shareholder gets to decide the direction of the Steem blockchain. Let's say we want to increase the block size, or we want to lower the transaction time. Let's say we say 3 seconds is too long. We want 1 second. We want instantaneous transactions. We can actually vote on that. We don't have to say, okay, we're going to branch out and we're going to split the community into 2 halves. We can say, hey, here's the decision we need to make as a community. I have 25% share right in the company, voting right. And in collaboration with someone that has 26% share of the voting right. Together we have 51%, and we can actually decide to move the entire blockchain to a new direction.
So can I ask, because
Yes.
you keep saying company and share, so I'm wondering,
Yes.
I know that colloquially, well, that's not a word. We keep talking about these things as liquid assets and shares, but aren't we just saying a share of the network?
Yes, you are.
Just to qualify, I mean, just to make sure I'm.
Yes,
So
so
you don't actually own any legal parts of the Steem Corporation, it's just.
Because there is a Steem Corporation.
Yeah.
Exactly, but they don't owe you shit, basically.
well, there's no Steem Corporation.
So what is it? Steem Incorporated.
Steem Incorporated is an application that's built on top of Steem blockchain.
Yeah.
Obviously, their teams consist of very early creators of Steem, so they obviously have a lot of say in the Steem blockchain. But theoretically, there could be another application that's built on top of Steem. Because if you think about it, blockchain technology is a database, and the beauty of Ethereum, the genius of Ethereum is they created a scripting language that could take that database and create a computer out of it. And the beauty of the Steem blockchain is they took that database and they turned it into a company. And collectively, you can make decisions together. So to answer your question in a very round way about, I think decentralized technology has forced us to rethink the corporation in a different way. Whereas in traditional companies, you have your shareholders, you have your board of directors. But I think when we think of the Steem blockchain, we should think of it more as a representative democracy, where
Of the network.
representative network,
Yeah.
where everyone who holds a stake in the network, who has something to lose, gets a say in the network.
Got it.
So obviously, it's a delegated proof of stake. That means you could actually delegate. Let's say I'm not a very technical person. I trust someone that has more technical knowledge to decide on the technical problems of the network. But maybe I trust on a different issue, a more political issue, on someone that has been involved and understands the direction they want to take Steem blockchain into something greater. So I could actually very, very quickly and very fluidly delegate my power to. So if I think a certain witness is not embodying the ideals I think is not taking the direction of the blockchain that I think is good for the blockchain, I can actually shift. And that witness, in traditional terms, that politician will lose his voting power. So just think about a senator who suddenly loses his voters. He's no longer a senator. He has no say in the political system. So
There's quite a lot to Steem it, isn't there? And
there's a lot.
Yeah.
Is the way I like to see it is America was founded as a private enterprise. A lot of private investors invested in exploring for India. Somehow they landed in America. Thought it was India. But it's a combination of private investment and public interest. You know, they wanted something new. They want something more perfect than what they had back in the old Europe. And I think Steem is an embodiment of that, where we think the current system of how we structure a company is no longer viable, and we need something different. We need something that's more decentralized. I know that's a jargon that gets used a lot, but all that means is just giving back to the power to the people who holds interest in the collective enterprise, and I think that's something beautiful.
But the idea of powering up is actually quite a clever concept, because it locks your money in for 13 weeks. So if you want to, say you put 1,000, you power up, you accumulate $1,000 worth of blog posts, and then you decide to power that up, to give you more voting rights. If you then want to take that out and cash it in for, for Bitcoin and then Bitcoin to Vivid or whatever, that's going to take you 13 weeks to take out the whole lot. For every week you get one, 13th. So it I think it's quite interesting about Steem. A lot of people look at crypto. You might have your favourite projects, but actually a lot of people, trade crypto based on, technical analysis and some fundamentals. But I think there's quite a lot of community in Steem it. So the idea of powering up your money, i.e. locking it in for 13 weeks in order to allow yourself more sort of voting rights, is quite a clever concept. Obviously, blockchain's evolving. There's lots of different ways of economic models and governance models. But I found now I've actually created my first account a week ago and got $20 my first post and actually used it. It's a bit like when you try and explain to someone how to ride a bike. You've actually got to create a post and play with it. Get a bit of steam power, power it up or power it down, try and take it out to appreciate all of the elements in Steem it, because it is actually pretty involved, compared to something like Bitcoin, right? Actually, Kevin will probably argue otherwise.
Then I have a question. So, the more Steem you earn, the more voting power you have.
Yes.
So this means that you can buy voting power.
You can.
Yeah, you can.
Of course.
So
That's
the one
powering
that
up.
has the most money, let's say Trump, owns the state. So the one that earns the most Steem it, or has the most Bitcoin that can swap it into Steem it, has the most votes.
Welcome
So
to
you can buy.
democracy. This is shit. That's why we have Bitcoin. So you have different models.
Yeah, there's different models. This is what I think is interesting.
Bitcoin.
Yeah.
That's a real
Buy money into
Because I
Bitcoin.
was all the conversation, I'm a trader, so I buy and sell. I don't buy and hold on.
Yes.
And I'm trying to see the value of other than Steem it. Keeping it for voting power, you give it to other people, or you get from the pool and you give it to other people. But why would people that have euros want to buy Steem it other than voting power? Because you can't buy
Curation.
anything else.
So this is the main issue of proof of stake systems today, and that's why proof of
That's
stake
new.
is not widely implemented. Proof of stake has an issue, many different solutions, but none of them is perfect. But the main issue is called nothing at stake. And the nothing at stake problem is that you can vote for like yourselves or whatever, but if you win, you lose nothing. So you have nothing to lose by trying. And you can also vote on different forks or different directions or different votes if you want, with the
But
same
then
different votes.
different than voting, why would people buy Steem?
Curation.
As
Curation
an investor, you
rewards.
should never invest in crypto for the value increase. You should invest in it for the ideas. And if you think other people are going to join your ideas, then great, you have a network where you can actually express your ideas. If you are looking at crypto as a way to make money, then yeah, it's back to trade analysis, so TA and stuff like that. And yeah, it works. Today, TA works. So if you look at the different charts, and you see that there is a change of direction and it's going up a bit more than it should be, then put all your money there and it's going to go to the moon until it doesn't, and then you're fucked. But this works today. That's trade analysis. That's trader stuff. But if you want to invest, as in like me looking into Bitcoin or this
But
guy's
I still
probably
want to see the long term, like How
Yes.
can,
So
how
they
can
see
people
it as-
want to have Steem?
They see it as a new Facebook. I see Bitcoin as a new financial system. This is why I put my money in there. It's not for making a return out of it. It's because I believe the financial system today is going to crash. And when you all have nothing in your bank account, I'll be like, hey, I'm buying yours.
Yeah,
Unless you run out of energy.
May I just interject? I think Steem presents itself as a social media platform, and I think that's the easiest way to get you on board. But I think seeing the direction Steem is going, there's a lot of talks about restructuring the internet. The internet has a lot of problems today, mostly with centralization. And one of the things that makes the internet most valuable is that people actually put their content, put their data on the internet. That's why it's so useful, because you can find anything you like on the internet. Wikipedia is such a valuable source. Why? Not because of Wikipedia Corporation. It's all its contributors, right? Why is the internet so valuable? Why is it that the internet is such a transformative force in our world today? It's because people put useful information on it. And yes, Steem is, maybe it presents itself as the social media that aims to take over Facebook. But its potential to just become the internet, to become a place where people put their content. Like that's what IPFS is trying to do, right? They're trying to restructure the way how we transmit our content, they're giving power back to people who hold the content and reward them for it. And Steem is operating on the same system, where if you contribute to the network, you get rewarded for it. And that's an amazing thing. So much, Google makes so much money just from creating content. None of the people who put information on Google makes any money, very little. Very few YouTubers make money, very little. But with Steem, we have a more equitable system where it's not owned by a corporation. It's not owned by a small collective. If you want to, you are the owner of your information, and only you could post and you could own your content in a way that's never done before. You have so much more power over the direction of the network than Facebook, than you have in Facebook. As a Facebook user, you have no say in how Facebook uses your information. As a Google user, you have no say in how you use your information. As a Steem user, you have rights. You can vote. You say, hey, I don't like the way this is going. I don't like that you're using my information to semi-targeted ads. I don't like that, and I'm not going to vote on that. We're not going to go that direction. We're going to take a different model.
How? Like you don't actually own your content anymore as soon as it's on the blockchain.
Well, you have the option
to put it up there on there or not, but you have the same option with Facebook and whatever.
But you decide how you get to monetize it. You decide how the money gets to flow.
Might be just the feeling of it. Might be just the feeling of it, that thinking you have a say. But that is, again, that is...
I don't have all the answers.
This is not a bad comment, right? It's just saying...
No.
But
I don't want to put you down. I'm just...
No, I think this stuff's too... I think a lot of blockchain stuff's so early. I mean, even... there's another guy, he's not here tonight. Is it Mitchell? I know...
Not here tonight, I don't know why.
Yeah, he should be, shouldn't he? Should be. But he was saying, I can't remember exactly what he was saying, but he used to be the marketing director or whatever for Steem for a period of time. And he was saying that actually they came to some kind of understandings on Steem by accident. And I think that is the same for quite a lot of blockchain projects, is in that it's all this stuff so cutting edge, they don't necessarily know what's going to work and what isn't, and then they just, they break stuff and it's fixed, and then the community says one thing and other people say another, and then something else comes about. So I still think there's quite a lot of stuff that isn't really being done necessarily on purpose. Sort of stuff's kind of just happening partly by chance and partly by design. It's still so early, as in I think the Steem. I mean, it's only been out, like you say, April of last year. And it's only got a relatively small amount of users, like coming up to 500,000 or something, 400,000.
Active users are like less than 100,000.
Yeah, okay.
In the internet space, Fred Wilson, he's a leading venture capitalist. He says that the blockchain space is a lot like the internet space.
Early 90s.
well,
The 90s or whatever, right?
Yeah. So there's a lot of things that the internet has done is, like, it has provided an invaluable source of information, but it hasn't allowed us to build a new economy on top of it. And right now, like, with blockchain technology, you can actually transfer value, and that's like, yeah, we have PayPal, we have other services that does banking on top of it, but at the end of the day, they're still centralized. They, you know, PayPal could revoke your payment, they could freeze your bank account. With Steem, you can't do that. Once you send a transaction, that's done. The Steem Corporation can do not. The Steem Corporation can do nothing. The Steem blockchain, if you convince all the witnesses, maybe, but what would other users on the Steem blockchain say? It's like, hey, you can't just mess with our financial situation willy-nilly. The way I see it, it's a new economy. It's a new internet economy, and that's. I don't know how it's
Is there a limit to how much Steem you can buy the credits?
No, it's openly traded. So yeah, so you can buy as much as you know the
For
market
this gentleman here, if he's trading and he sees opportunity, he could buy as much as he could.
Yes.
within
Yeah.
with whatever market, yeah, whatever's on sale on Bittrex and Poloniex, yeah.
Just the currency.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You were also asking, like, if you actually stake up your Steem to Steem Power, which gives you voting power, you get curation rewards, which means if I'm really early in upvoting Heidi's content, I get a share of what she's earning on that post.
Oh, wow.
So, and people actually code bots that they have their upvoting bots. Yeah, and then they just like distribute their power to their bots and then just get a weekly curation reward of quite a lot of money, like if you have a lot of voting power.
But it's
So you
quite
get a good
interesting.
return
But it's
on
something
this.
extra, oh, sorry, it's 22, it's something extra. Does it go off what you earn, or is it something on top?
The curation rewards,
Yeah.
it's based how much I get paid.
It's 25%, isn't it?
not
Yeah,
mine,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
you get paid. Like if-
Yeah, within the amount that's raised, a certain percentage goes to me.
75%,
in
I
Steem
think.
And in Steem Power, and
Yeah.
a certain percent gets distributed to all the upvoters on that post.
So that's your
And if you have
incentive.
higher Steem Power, if you voted with more voting power, you get more, I think, of the.
All of this sounds actually quite complicated and involved, but actually when you start using it practically, it's a bit like I say, like riding a bike, as in, you know, you get to pedal and you turn, and
It's
you're
so
actually doing quite a
complicated.
lot of things. Yeah, riding a bike probably is a bit complicated, but it actually
Don't
isn't.
mind Steem.
Yeah,
It is
but actually, no,
still
but I know. But I think
complicated.
actually when you start, yeah, it is. But once you created your first post and you get a bit of steam or whatever, and then you see what you can actually do, you go to the wallet, and what's actually also interesting, you can see how much everyone's got.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's pretty fucked up. You know, some people look at like, you know, well, like, you know, there's $4 million. There's two, you know, as in, I met a few kind of Steem whales at Steam Fest. You know, there was a guy who had $200,000. Pardon?
I have to.
Yeah, like we're up my nose, right? I'm
I
like,
disagree. So this gentleman bought already. As from a trader standpoint, like what sense does it make, like buying Steem and powering it up? I think if you invest in Steem, obviously, you know, just like how you invest in any company, you kind of have a expectation of its value to go up. But with Steem, it's structured very much like a public company in terms that the rewards doesn't come out from a fixed amount of Steem. Steem is actually inflationary. That means it's the amount of Steem actually increases. It increases at a diminishing rate, but still it
That's why
increases.
it's
for 25 years,
Yes.
right? I think it's,
Yes.
yeah.
So
25.
Yeah, it's up. I think they've made it for 25 years, yeah. I think at the end it's 0.5%.
yeah. So to answer
Yeah.
this gentleman's question, I think as someone who is looking to invest in Steem, you kind of have to switch your mindset from a trader, where you could swap, your tokens, the floating market. You know, you expect it to go up or down, and you could trade it instantly. It makes no sense to lock up your Steem for 13 weeks, right? You're missing out the market opportunities. You have to kind of switch your mindset to that of an investor. You have to think, what is this company trying to do? Is this company, what this company doing valuable in the long term? Is this going to be the next Facebook? You know, and when you power up the Steem, where you what in essence is saying is that I believe in what this company is doing. I want to have a say in the direction of the company that I think will make it more profitable. Bitcoin is a great investment vehicle. Obviously, the Bitcoin price has been going up, only up. You know, there's some up and downs. But at the end of the day, as a Bitcoin holder, you don't get to say what happens to the network. When the Bitcoin core developers decide to go fork, you kind of throw your hands up and you hope you're assuming, you're making an assumption that they have a lot of vested interest and they don't want to lose the value of the Bitcoin.
It's a fork. You make free money anyway.
It's a blockchain.
Well, that's a lot more complicated. I actually have a lot of problems with the Bitcoin fork because.
No, I'm not supporting forks.
Yeah, exactly. The whole core proposition of Bitcoin is to have one universal ledger where everyone can keep the transaction records and no one can tamper with it. When you have forks in the Bitcoin network, you in essence create two different sets of books, right? Everyone talks about the 51% network attack, and I think all these forks, they create a bigger problem than the 51% network attacks, because when you split Bitcoin, you have vested interest in both networks. And at any moment, you can say, hey, I don't think this network is going to be viable. I'm just going to dump all my coins. And that creates a much, much bigger problem than 51% network attack. Because you don't need super mining equipment. You just say, I have this bunch of Bitcoin, and then I have Bitcoin Gold. I don't believe in Bitcoin Gold. Maybe Bitcoin Gold takes off. I say, hey, I don't think it's viable. I'm going to dump it all. You don't need mining equipment. You could just crash Bitcoin Gold if you have enough, because you have duplicates. You have no interest in. You might have split interest, but like for you, it doesn't really matter. But you could damage the network as much as you want just by dumping the coins, and you could tank the price. And everyone, it creates a snowball effect where when the price goes down, everyone's like, hey, whoa, I'm not sure if this fork is gonna be viable anymore. And you just dump, and it becomes nothing. And everyone holds Bitcoin Gold now is.
So on that, this is a feature, and this is actually a very good feature. Is that you're right? There is this snowball effect that if somebody starts like a whale, a very very big holder starts selling the price, start tanking. TA is like trade analysis. He's telling you, oh, something is going on. You should sell right now because we're going to trigger the margin calls of all the guys that are going long and are going to get liquidated. So this is a bit technical, but the traders are going to get liquidated. So the exchanges are going to sell automatically for them their coins. So the price is going down, and then we are hitting the other guys who were going long and get margin called again, so liquidated. Price go down again, and you have this